So, and I really appreciate Reverend Witherspoon's remarks, my brother, my colleague, and my comrade in arms, frankly, because he's made this report a little easier. I don't have to go over everything. What I want to say, though, is Baltimore is an occupied city a lot like Gaza. I'm not asserting that the people of Baltimore are suffering the exact kind of brutal terror that the Palestinians are suffering this very second. But what I'm saying, the comparison is the systemic use of violence and humiliation to control and subdue and oppress people. And that's the comparison. We are an occupied city. I don't want to go over all of the incidences, but you know, when we were in the communities canvassing as the Baltimore People's Assembly, we heard reports from women who were being strip searched. We heard reports from young brothers who were kidnapped. I heard a report myself, word for word. An 11-year-old kid came up and talked about how he was handcuffed and taken around the block and terrorized police, in his own words. So we are an occupied city, and it is the reason why the People's Assembly of Baltimore has demanded the cops to get out of the community, has demanded that the cops be jailed, these killer cops, these cops that have abused the community. Reverend Witherspoon already said it very, very well. It is a product of the capitalist crisis. They don't want to provide jobs. They don't want to provide education. They don't want to provide housing or any of the things that the people need. What they have as the answer is police terror. I want to end with 3 points. Comrade Larry Holmes said something I thought was very important. And we say the same thing. We in Baltimore do not want to fight alone. We need your help. The problems of police terror are not just relegated to Baltimore City. Oakland, I know Tova was here, we met brothers and sisters from Oakland, Philadelphia, and all across the country, and in fact, in every oppressed community, city, town, state, countryside, the same problems exist. We do not want to fight alone. We invite you to come to Baltimore on December 15th to participate in a National People's Power Assembly. Come not only to help us as one people, but also come to help strategize the next step in the People's Power movement. The second point I wanted to raise, I think my colleague, Reverend Witherspoon, could have spoken a lot more eloquently and knowledgeably than I could about this. But in this coming year, in 2013, it is the 50th anniversary of the civil rights struggle. There's many, many key things that are taking place. It's the 50th anniversary of the Poor People's Campaign, which frankly was, I wouldn't say it's the first occupation. I think that Comrade Fred pointed out the Paris Commune. There have been occupations all throughout working class history that are key. And one of them was the Poor People's Campaign. And I can remember as an 17-year-old, I ran away from home. I was at that Poor People's Campaign. It will be the 50th anniversary of that campaign this year. It's also the 50th anniversary on August 28th of the March for Jobs and Freedom. Let's, sisters and brothers and comrades, claim this year to bring this struggle, to the top. We need to unite the very same forces that the comrades talked about in the first plenary, the most oppressed in this society, the Occupy movement, the youth, everyone, the same forces that ushered in, Obama's second, whatever. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, let's make this year a year. And we also want to invite you in May, at the end of May, at the commemoration of the Poor People's Campaign. Baltimore has been talking about this for over a year. I know that Reverend Witherspoon, myself, and a number of other comrades and friends in Baltimore and other allies have been talking for a year. We are going to march again. North Carolina folks were with us on the last march. We are going to march to Washington, D.C. on the Poor People's Campaign. It may or may not be a big thing. It may be an effort to consolidate what we've already won on the ground with the People's Power movement. But it may be something more. We don't know how the struggle will develop. My last point, because I want to be real short so I don't get one of these notes. has really more to do organizationally with the People's Power movement. Comrades, we don't really know how the crisis is going to develop in this country. And I'm not here to assert that it's about the police brutality struggle. It may be. Maybe there will be a rebellion in Oakland. Maybe there'll be a rebellion in LA, in the Latino community, which is under the gun too. It could be anywhere. Or it could be about the austerity movement. There's any number of possibilities. We don't know. But what we do know as Marxist revolutionaries is that the workers have the power to shut the system down. And organizationally, we have to recognize this. The Occupy movement gave a certain kind of, it buoyed and it pushed the trade union and the working class movement forward. I know somebody's going to talk about Walmart, so I'm not even going to mention it. I'm not going to mention the class struggle that's emerged on the union front. But really, it was the people's movement in the street, the Occupy movement with all of its flaws and difficulties, that buoyed the rest of the working class movement up. I think we should look at that very carefully, because if the People's Power movement can maybe be a higher version of that and can reignite the entire class struggle. So I wanted to say that and end a little bit more on this other organizational note. I don't think, and I know that we do not view the People's Power movement on a sectarian basis. We're not seeking to control every aspect of this movement. That would be absurd, and it would be foolish of us. Frankly, we should have workers' assemblies. It shouldn't always be us. We're small. We need to get the idea out about what we're talking about in terms of people's power. The first speaker from North Carolina said it better than me. So we want to push it out. But I want to say that while we don't seek to control everything, I think we have to view it as deadly serious in terms of contributing to the movement and birthing it, and looking forward to the ultimate form of an international revolutionary council formed from the People's Power assemblies throughout this country, whose goal will be to plan, coordinate, execute an insurrection that will sweep away the global capitalist system and save this planet from ultimate destruction. Power to the people, power to the workers, power to the oppressed, power to the world's people, down with capitalism, build revolutionary socialism.